This video is now going to be about electromagnetic induction. All right, so I've got some other things to play around with here, and I got my coil and my magnets and my alligator clips. So here's the idea. In the 19th century, various physicists, in particular a guy named Henry and a guy named Faraday, Henry was his last name, thought this: perhaps if electricity can create a magnetic field, as we just saw in our last video and in class, then maybe something else can happen, which could be pretty interesting. So let's see what that something else could be. So I have my coil here, and I'm going to bring over this galvanometer. And a galvanometer is a very sensitive way of measuring voltage or current. Read about it in your book a little bit. Interestingly enough, it actually runs by having a coil inside of here and a magnet. So back inside of here, it's hard to see, but inside here, there's a teeny tiny coil that's, can't really see it, and then there's some magnets that are surrounding it, such that when I pass a little bit of current through that coil, just a teeny bit of current through that coil, it's going to create a deflection in this needle right here, and we're going to be able to read something out of this needle. So we're just using this as a very sensitive way to measure current. So we're going to see if we can do something here. Let's see if we can create some current, create some electricity. So I'll just hook up my coil over there and over here, and we're going to see if magnetism can create electricity. So I'm just going to have my magnet over here, and then here's my magnet, and there's my coil, and we're looking over here on the galvanometer, and nothing. So Faraday sat around for a little while and pondered this, and he thought, well, gosh, I guess magnetism can't create electricity. Oh, well. Hey, wait a minute. That's weird. Did you see that? Were you watching the galvanometer? Huh. What happened? I have my magnet here, and then I'm going to pull it away. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Wait a minute. Did you see that on the needle? Watch again. There's my magnet, and, that's weird. In fact, what happens if I move the magnet around near the coil? Hey, now I'm getting something here. So it actually can work, and it's not just a magnet that can create electricity, but it actually has to be a moving magnet, or what we call a changing magnetic field. So I can change this magnetic field just by moving this magnet back and forth, and I can create a current inside of there. Let me get some stronger magnets. These are just slightly stronger, and you can see that it really works. So anytime I'm moving the magnet back and forth, then the needle on the galvanometer moves. If I hold the magnet here, nothing. So I have to move it back and forth. So that's pretty interesting. I can create electricity this way. I wonder if it also works if I hold the magnet here and I move the coil around near the magnet. Hey, look at that. Oops. Alligator clips are very ferromagnetic. Hey, go away from there. So let's try this. There's the coil, and I'll move the coil back and forth near the magnets, and wow, look at that. It definitely works. If I move the coil, then I get some electricity going through my galvanometer, right? So that's all very interesting, and this is called electromagnetic induction. It's also lots of ferromagnetism. We can see this even more if I have more coils. So here's something that's been commercially prepared, and it's just a lot of coils. You can see all those coils down there, and it's big, thick wires. So now instead of hooking this small little coil up, let's hook up the bigger coil, like this, and like this. Scooch my galvanometer over, and then get my magnets back. Now everything's attached together. So there's my magnets back. Now once again, if I just, let's rotate this way. We'll see if that works a little bit better. We're watching the galvanometer. If I just hold the magnets near the galvanometer, nothing. But if I wave them around, then you can see the needle really deflects, right? Especially if I move it really fast. So the faster I go, the more the needle deflects. If I move really slowly, it deflects just a little bit. There's also something else going on here. When I move the magnets this way, the needle deflects one way, and if I move it this way, it deflects the other way. So now I'm creating current in one direction, and current in the other direction, and current in one direction, and then the other direction. And what do we call it when we create current that goes back and forth and back and forth? What kind of current is that? Okay, So this is actually how a generator works. A generator is going to take some sort of magnet or magnetic field and move it around near a coil. You can either move the coil around or you can move the magnet around, and you're going to generate electricity. Some of you were asking the question, why do we have AC? Why do we get AC from our wall outlet? So what's the deal with AC? Why even have AC? We have all these AC to DC converters, like your cell phone charger and your computer charger. So now you can see one of the reasons why we have AC is because that's the way it's produced. If you have a generator and you're moving around a magnet near a coil, then you're creating AC, going one way, then the other way, one way, then the other way. By the way, I can also spin my magnet around, and that's going to create some electricity as well. So how am I going to really make electricity? Well, if I have something that can power this by spinning it around, say I hook this up to a gasoline engine or a steam turbine, and I have some magnets that are spinning around near a coil, or a coil that's spinning around near a magnet, then I can create electricity. So this is known as electromagnetic induction. And when you induce something, you sort of force it to happen, but gently force it to happen. And then this also became known as Faraday's law. Faraday's law says that a changing magnetic field, this is really, really important, it has to be a changing magnetic field, can induce a current in a wire. It has to be changing, and it has to be current in a wire. Loop of wire helps, but it doesn't actually have to be a loop of wire. It can just be a straight wire as well. The more wire you have, the more loops you have, then the bigger the effect is going to be, which is why this big fat coil works so well. So that's electromagnetic induction for you, and hopefully that was enjoyable. There'll be one more video after this too.